I'm gonna play this one very briefly because I don't want to spend too much time on the spin-offs, especially the ones that are just kind of like little goofy mini games. Welcome to Popstar. It's a very peaceful place. Little Kirby naps on a cloud. How comfy. But who is that scurrying by? It's Waddle Dee. He looks like a very busy guy. And there goes King Dee with something big. I love that face. Now what could they be up to? Just like that's actually like, I might make that an emote. That's a good one. But awaiting him is a dreamland without its stars. Oh, they shouted it at me. Maybe Adeline sought shelter in Popstar because the human's home planet froze over? Could be. We'll just have to keep going on our Kirby lore to find out. We probably won't find out. So this is originally, like a, gyro game, or what, I don't know what technology they use specifically, but you would tilt. And, I have a patch that just makes it so that we don't have to do that. I can just use the D-pad. Yeah, that sound sample had to be like, yeah, like half the ROM. Oh, okay. This is definitely less interesting with, like, in this format. But I'm not really sure that... I can't say with certainty that it was ever... Oh, okay, I see this rotates. That it was ever interesting. I didn't play this when it was new. Pop Kirby up to make him jump. Ow. I just smacked my... I just smacked my controller on the bottom of my desk without thinking. I guess we just... Oh, okay, that's just giving us a little tutorial. Yeah, there was like the cartridge had the tech inside of it. It was like a bulky, cartridge. Jump onto that magical floating cloud. I once made a GBA game as like part of a class, and I ran out of space because I had like a 6-second loop for the music, because we didn't actually learn how to do music properly, like using like a sound font. So all we kind of knew how to do was just like samples. So it was only like maybe 6 seconds, and that used up almost everything. This isn't not fun. Jump onto that magical floating cloud, it will take you to your goal. I could easily imagine, like, having this as a kid and it being, like, my favorite thing. We did not use GB Studio. We used like a text editor. I don't even remember what we used to compile. Like, it was, we did this, like, raw. Kirby's Burst a Balloon, Kirby's Hurdle Race, do the Kirby, Kirby's Roll-A-Rama, Kirby's Chicken Race. You know I gotta do the Kirby. Alright. Watch the dance, tilt to move the... Oh wait. Watch the star dance, tilt to move the star rod to an arrow, press A to make Kirby A dance. This is not well formatted. Don't miss a step. Okay, I think it's just a memory game. It wasn't that raw. We used C++. So we didn't program it in assembly, but I wish I could remember more about it. I actually don't remember. What, I don't know what I'm doing here. So far, it's only been one direction. I see. It's just Simon. I still have that ROM somewhere. They actually, like, had a cartridge we could load it onto at the end of the class. We didn't get to keep it. They also, like, they gave us, like, a link to, like, buy one, but, they were just like, yeah, these websites kind of just disappear a lot, so... How long is this gonna go on? I'm pretty good at memory games like this. So I'm actually like half paying attention. Why do I have to press start every time? Just show me the next one. We did it! We did it! Yay! Wait, lesson 9? What do you mean lesson 9? We're still going? I had to think for a moment. It's in 13, dude. I think this is just until you lose. Oh, it was 2. What do you mean try again? It should be one miss. Please. No, why is it still try again? Showtime? Oh, that was just us learning the dance. Oh, okay, he's doing it on his own. Okay, there is an end. Yay! We did the Kirby. That's what this is, top 3, how far you get. Okay, I don't need to do more of this. It's neat. Oh, you know what? I actually totally forgot because I just jumped straight into it. I actually totally forgot to show like any material on that one. Yeah, oops. So yeah, I'll do that. This is the box art in Japan for Kirby Tilt and Tumble. Is it? Oh, is it like Koto Kirby? Kabi? I don't know. I'm not really sure. And the box art for the US. This one shows Kirby tilting, maybe tumbling. Yeah, this one, the Japanese one, shows us nothing. Motion sensor. Color. Includes tilt control. I'm using tilt controls. I also have the commercials. And of course I can't go without showing the commercials. They showed the gameplay. Hey. Not too bad. Opens with Kirby like rolling around somebody's hand. Kind of cute. I want to know what's in store for us in the US commercial. Oh man, I already hate it. It is showing us the premise of the game at least, but like, I don't like Kirby's voice here.
Introducing new tilt response technology. Now you move the Game Boy, not the buttons. Kirby Tilt and Tumble, rated E for everyone. Only on Game Boy Color. Get into it.
Wait a minute. That sounded okay. It probably isn't, but that sounded like Stephen Colbert.
Introducing new tilt response technology. Now you move the Game Boy, not the buttons. Kirby Tilt and Tumble, rated E for everyone. Only on Game Boy Color. Get into it.
That sounds like Stephen Colbert. I don't know. I wouldn't know how to even look it up. Also, the mouth at the end, like I'm not gonna just ignore that. I don't even know what the mouth was supposed to be indicating. Like there's a mouth. They just did weird shit back then and kind of didn't question it. I guess I could look at the manual for this one. Why not? Oh, I know why not. It's because I already closed the whole. Sharing the browser is an effort. Okay, what do I have next on the docket? Next up is Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland. All right, I'm gonna... Not that one, not that one. Yeah, this'll do. I've got a lot to say about Nightmare in Dreamland. And so I'm gonna need water first. Okay, so let me get the box art open so I have something to talk in front of. At least the Japanese box art first. Where are we dragging that? There we go. All right, I don't actually know what it's called in Japanese. I mean, I see Hoshino Kabi, but then I don't know what the subtitle says. I gotta talk about the development of this game and why it was being made. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna talk about that after I show the US box art. I think that's important. This is Japanese box art. It shows Fountain of Dreams. Kirby's got Star Rod. He looks super excited to go on an adventure. Although it wasn't called Kirby's Adventure in Japan, I don't think. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't show us much about gameplay, but like it does give us a little bit of sense of the plot or something. What's going on in the US box art? Oh, actually, there's one other thing. It does specify one of the features of the game, 4 players. Specifically, 4 players, 1 cart. So there's is that multiplayer? I don't know. Multi-cart. Yeah, multi-cart, 1 cart, 4 players. So, because you can play this game using, like, the mini games could be played with just one game card. But there was also multiplayer that like wasn't really well featured, I think. You could just do like 4-player co-op through the game, I think. I never did it, and I've never even seen it done. But anyway, US box art. All right, so there's a lot to talk about here. The first is it does have the same little advert on it. Link it up. 1 game pack, 4 players. So That was, you know, that was a new feature. I think this was the first game to do that, and one of the only. Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland. This is the first time we've seen this Kirby logo. If you have followed Kirby games for some time, you'll instantly recognize it, and this is the beginning of it. Previous to this, we always had this logo. Like, Kirby was always in that font since the very beginning. Kirby's Dreamland. And for a long time, it was like always Kirby's something. No matter what game it was, Kirby's Dream Course, Kirby's Pinball Land, Kirby's Block Ball. And honestly, I really like that original logo. Even Kirby 64. Kirby 64, let's see, what was the first one to not say Kirby's? Oh, it was actually Kirby Superstar. So that wasn't a perfect consistency the whole way. Kirby Superstar, but every game other than Kirby Superstar was Kirby's something, and they all had that font. Up until, I guess, Kirby 64, which I get it. You know, that makes sense. You wouldn't put Kirby's 64. That would be a little weird. And then Kirby Tilt and Tumble honestly could have been called Kirby's Tilt and Tumble. And I imagine that excuse me. I imagine that a lot of people did call it that. Like, people would say Kirby's Air Ride a lot, and you might even... People who are particularly observant might notice that way back when we were previewing early development on the 64 for Kirby, and just 64 in general, the preview was called Kirby's Air Ride. But the game later launched as Kirby Air Ride. So, anyway, this is the first time we're seeing this logo, which has frankly plagued us for a long, long time. It is only recently, only a few years ago, we lost this logo. This was just the Kirby branding, but why is what I want to know, right? Why was this the Kirby branding? Obviously I know the answer a little bit, or I have a good guess at minimum. Because we had Kirby branding, so why change it? It was solid, it was strong, it was iconic, it was like the big bubbly letters, just they felt like Kirby. So what's going on here? Well, let's look at the whole box art instead of just the logo. So what do we have? This looks like Kirby, like Fighter Kirby on here, but Fighter Kirby's not in the game. Turns out they do have this headband though. The bandana shows up for Suplex in this game, which is called Backdrop. Meta Knight is in the background. Like, in isolation, this is a really good box art. The only problem is Meta Knight's not the main enemy. Meta Knight is not the Nightmare in Dreamland. Like, that's not his... he has a really minor role in this game, in fact. In fact, in this version of the game, his role is actually downplayed. In Kirby's Adventure, Meta Knight shows up to periodically throw you invincibility candy, and that is, in fact, his very first appearance in the game, in the franchise, anywhere. And they took that out. The candy's just sitting there for you to pick up, so he doesn't even help you at any point, which is weird, given what this was supposed to tie into, because that art there, I mean, yeah, right away, we can point out that Kirby's looking excited here and he's looking pissed here, of course, but these are cropped from stills from the Kirby anime. And that really puts it all together. Take a look at this logo. What are these lines behind the logo? Here's Kirby right back at you. It's Kirby inhaling the logo. There's Meta Knight doing that pose. He's inhaling the logo, and that's why it's so, like, wobbly. They even tried to recreate the right back at you font. So, yeah, it's kind of supposed to be Kirby the anime the game. A little bit. The problem is that it just wasn't. Like, this was a remake of Kirby's Adventure. And originally, Sakurai didn't want to make a remake. The intention behind the game, the reason they were making one at all, was because they hadn't made a Kirby game in a hot minute, and the anime was coming out. So they're like, oh crap, we gotta make a game to tie in to the show so people will have, like, something to buy. And that makes sense, but they also needed to do it quickly, which is kind of funny, because Kirby's Adventure originally needed to be made quickly. And they were going to do a remake of Kirby's Dreamland. They ended up making a whole new game. Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland also needed to be made quickly, not so they wouldn't go out of business, but because they were making a show. And they were originally not going to make a remake, but because it needed to be done quickly, they ended up doing it. So it's kind of like same situation, opposite direction for some reason. I mean, I think just the production time of games just was very different. And there's a lot to talk about in the production of this game. But yeah, so it was supposed to tie into the anime, but because it's a remake, it kind of doesn't. And any little tie-ins that could have been there aren't. So that's weird. And we ended up stuck with this wobbly logo, which was only there because they needed to tie into the anime. So that became the Kirby branding, and I believe that they kept it. My best guess is that they designed this logo, just someone else designed it, and it was already shipped, and it's like, well, crap, we have to tie it into the show, so we have to use the same like logo, and they just ended up stuck with that logo for like a decade and a half. Maybe more. Actually, no, it was almost like, yeah, it was like somewhere, it was almost 2 decades. I think this game was 2002. I think we had it until, like, this logo was unchanged until like around like 2018. Maybe later. I think the first time we even got a different color of it was Kirby's Epic Yarn. But yeah, so I wasn't crazy about that. I'm just a fan of the old logo, but that's pretty minor because it doesn't show up in the game, right? Well, it does. It actually does show up in the game. This logo is just, it's in the game, but still not a big deal. Not while you're playing. Let's take a look at the commercials before we get into the game itself. First, the Japanese commercial.
星のカービィ夢の泉デラックス。
ゲームボーイアドバンス。ずっと待ってたのゲーム。ハンマーみたいなあなた。竜巻みたいさ思い。サクサク炸裂アクション。
星のカービ
So I guess these
ィ
are
夢の泉デラックス。
a few different commercials.
ゲームボーイアドバンス。ずっと待ってたのゲーム。ハンマーみたいなあなた。竜巻みたいさ思い。
Is that okay?
4人プレイも盛り上がるゲームボーイアドバンス。
That was like
星のカービィ夢の泉デラックス。
Okay, that was like almost the same commercial 3 times. It was like slightly different each time, but it showed kind of the same gameplay. Pretty much the main thing they were advertising, I guess, was the multiplayer. Which, I mean, fair enough. What did they do for US?
Yeah, he's a man of many, many faces. It may be pink, but it's really dangerous. Every enemy he meets is another bad guy for Kirby to beat. Then he takes on their powers. Kirby! Nightmare in Dreamland. Kirby!
Well, it had one thing in common with the Japanese one. It had bad singing. I just think that the Japanese one was intentional. Yeah, so that was awful. Also, it was very clearly, like very blatantly trying to tie into the anime. So that in the Japanese one, they were mostly promoting the multiplayer, but in the US one, they were mostly promoting the show. There also is a little promo from E3 2002, which is kind of an interesting thing. It shows some like some beta footage. Which is kind of cool. Some of the things are a little different, like the way the powers work. You can actually see him with the same hat at different points use... Yeah, there's Fireball, using the same hat from Fire. This is a remake of Dreamland... of Adventure, sorry. Also, these are basically just test rooms. None of this, literally none of this appears in the game. I think these are all test rooms. And yeah, like, Laser looks totally different. That ability doesn't work that way. That's not the room you fight Meta Knight in. That's not how loud Kirby is when he gets hit. Neat. And it's cute. As far as the game goes, well, we're gonna see. So, oh, my controller's been sitting there long enough, it's turned off. So overall, I'll say that Nightmare in Dreamland is a game that I really liked as a kid. And it is a good one. Yeah, there's that logo again. Just out of context. They could have had like Kirby inhaling the logo or something, but they didn't. Instead, they just kind of had, you know, let's just do the sprite limit across the screen. Oh, we have a little intro again. Peaceful world of Dreamland is in great danger. In Dreamland, dreams always flowed from the wonderful Fountain of Dreams. Fountain of Dreams collected the hopes and dreams of all living things. It was also responsible for the sweet dreams and rest that come from deep sleep. But one day, everyone in Dreamland lost the ability to dream. King Dedede was bathing in the Fountain of Dreams. He had even taken the Star Rod, the source of the fountain's power, and broken it into pieces that he gave to his underlings. Now Kirby must embark on an adventure. Adventure? To restore peaceful nap times to all the residents of Dreamland. It said the Fountain of Dreams like the entire time down there. So that one thing they definitely changed in there was that bit about his underlings. I think it just used to be his friends. So yeah, so this is as a remake of. Actually, you know what? Let me. Before I get into this, actually, there is something I want to do. So it's kind of weird because that one's coming off of like 64, where Dedede is well established as an ally of Kirby, but it's a remake of Adventure, so he's the villain again, because this was the game where he became Kirby's friend in the first place. So I want to show just the beginning of Kirby's Adventure. I'm going to just play one level just so we can kind of do a little bit of a comparison. Pay attention to the duration of this intro. I love that little doo-ding when it knocks a sword. Like, it's very charming. We get our first ability. Press the button. It uses the ability. Cool. we can slide through enemies. I actually want to show off Spark. Spark is an interesting ability because it's not that it's a bad ability, it's that it spawns too many sprites on the screen and causes a lot of slowdown. Fire's kind of the same way. And importantly, look at how quickly we can breathe fire here. This is going to come up. Actually, that's enough. Let's get back to the other thing. That's all I want. That's all I wanted to show was just the first room, really. Back to Nightmare in Dreamland. I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, we're gonna start a new game, and we're gonna watch the intro to Vegetable Valley. It's a completely different scene. First of all, it's like half the time. They're not doing a sword fight. Kirby doesn't get disarmed. It doesn't have that cute little doo-doo sound anymore. It's so much shorter for some reason. I actually have a suspicion why it's so much shorter, which I'll talk about. So, Beam feels like it's mostly the same. Kirby actually has one frame, if you look, one frame where he holds his hand up before he uses the beam, before he steps down. He kind of steps up a little bit. But it's pretty cool. Spark is a massive improvement. Also has like one frame, but yeah, it comes out really fast, and it doesn't spawn a ton of sprites. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter as much anymore. That's it. And now for fire. This is the one that I really want to show. So we saw before how quick, like all three of these powers came out like frame one. You'd press the button and instantly. The last two here were, you know, they were quick. This one, that's so slow. He tilts his head back before, like, whipping it forward to breathe fire. It is actually so slow that this ability is basically useless. Also, when you slide into an enemy, it bounces you backwards. So as a result, I end up just not using anything but Spark because it comes out really quickly. That and Freeze. And that kind of ties into what I wanted to talk about with that intro and why I think it might have been shortened. So, in an interview with Sakurai, and it's Sakurai. So Sakurai was the general director on this game, but for some reason he didn't count it when he was talking on his YouTube channel about the games that he was involved in. But it was Sakurai and the designer and the I think the lead programmer. And well, the designer said that when he was making the animations, he compared it to Kirby Superstar and wasn't able to, he's like, there's no way I can match this level of skill. Like, these are so well done. So instead he just added more frames to them. And as both he and Sakurai said, that made Sakurai mad. And Sakurai explained that, more frames don't, they might make it look better, but they don't make it play better. The player doesn't care about it looking smooth and fluid, they care about it feeling good. I don't know why I just did that. And that really shows in so many powers in this game. There are a lot of them that have this like startup time, and it looks really good, but it feels so sluggish, and a lot of this game does. Here's Sword. Sword comes out pretty fast, but it still has a little bit of startup, like a frame or two. Hammer has even more than that, which definitely gives it a lot of weight, whereas in the other game it just kind of like comes out quickly. It makes it really hard to use and not very fun to do. They also mentioned in the interview that this game is packed to the gills. Like they literally couldn't fit anything else on it. And I mean, yeah, those backgrounds look like they probably take up a lot of space. That's pre-rendered 3D. That's like a whole ass, like, that's not tiled. I don't know why they, okay, sure. Oh yeah, burning is another one. That I need to talk about. So I think that, and Sakurai said, like, I think the designer's name was Suzuki. Sakurai was like, oh, it's packed to the gills. Suzuki's to thank for that. Or it was like, I think the phrasing was something like, thanks to Suzuki's efforts. Which, knowing Sakurai, could have been sarcastic. He might have been just like, yeah, because he added all these extra frames, we ran out of space on the cartridge. Also, burning, unlike in Kirby Superstar, and unlike in that E3 footage that we saw, is a separate ability from Fire. Fire gave us that like, flaming hat, you know, the like, flaming tiara, whereas this one has, like a tiara that's not on fire, and our hands are on fire instead. It also has like this big startup, like so many other things, instead of just coming out immediately, making it kind of hard to use. Not as bad as Fire, though. During development, these two abilities were the same thing. It was gonna be just like in Superstar, where you could just, like, you could use either one with one thing, but the designer insisted on making them separate. He's like, no, like I can pull it off, and it's like, so he wanted to do. I think he just wanted to design the extra hats or something. I'm not really sure why he was so insistent, but Sakurai had some other sarcastic comment that was something like, oh yeah, he's a really hard worker, and nothing seems to get in the way of him. I forget how he phrased it, but it was just like, somehow that feels like a little bit sarcastic. Because Sakurai wanted like this and that, and the designer wanted it otherwise, and I think this is the stage where normally it would be for Meta Knight's first appearance. Here's Needle. Also, Needle has dreadful startup time. This game is like the brawl of Kirby. Yeah, here it is. So the candy's just there. In Adventure, Meta Knight tossed it to us. Here it's just sitting there. Oh, all these descriptions were written by Sakurai, also. Not the English ones, but the English ones are supposedly really accurate. I'm not going to play through this whole game as Kirby, because there is actually something else at the end of it. If you beat it 100%, just like in the original, you unlock extra game. Play with half your vitality, but unlike in the original, you can save during that mode. If you 100% that one, you unlock another mode called Meta Nightmare, and this is the first appearance of Meta Nightmare. Meta Knight has set out to practice his swordplay. Use his blade to clear the way. You can't save. And this marks Meta Knight's very first appearance as a playable character. And you know what? He's a lot of fun. So I'm actually going to go through the game as Meta Knight instead because I think it'll be a lot faster that way, and also I haven't done this yet. I feel like it's worth it for me to do this on stream. Oh, also there's a timer in the bottom, because this is also a speed run. I don't know if I'm going to go for 100% with Meta Knight, though. I don't know if that matters. Like, you can't save, so it kind of doesn't. But they might give you some, like, congratulatory statement. I might end up getting 100% just because I know where everything is now. I actually, like, unlocked this mode last night. Just, like, kind of went through the base game and the extra game. I didn't, like, download a save file. I went through it myself. So I have a pretty good sense of where everything is at this point. They bring this mode back in Superstar Ultra, and it's even better in that one, in my opinion. I think something that makes Meta Knight so much more fun than Kirby here is how fast his attacks are. They come out pretty much instantly. Like, I think that might be frame 1. One thing that's really, I guess, important to mention here is the sprite size. It's a lot larger than what it was on, like, proportionately than on the other one. Oh yeah, I forgot about the minigames. Oh, this is a museum. Oh, we can't do minigames as Meta Knight. Oh well. And as a result, a lot of the game ends up feeling kind of cramped, a little claustrophobic even. I do kind of wish that his aerial attack was a spin. And the what-ups are redesigned to look like Meta Knight. That's neat. But even though the, like in terms of just visual appeal, like this game has a lot. Like it looks very, very good. Although these backgrounds look very, very... That's weird. Why is that so simple? Huh. Yeah, see, he doesn't hit behind him when he does his aerial attack, and also the spin okay, I'm taking too much damage. The spin you like don't lose momentum on. Also, he does not do the minigame at the end. He just popped out. Being able to swap between, like, attacking and flying is another thing that's, like, lets him just go a lot faster. One thing they did in this game, as compared to the other one, and this was definitely for the best considering the changed, like, screen space that you have. They improved, like, pretty much everything Kirby does. Like, he moves faster. I think his abilities deal more damage, so, like, the mini-bosses don't take as much effort. It's just the startup animations that make things feel a little sluggish for him, which is really unfortunate. Another thing that's really unfortunate about this game, which I guess we'll see. UFO in a future one is the separation of fire and burning. So they had been combined in Superstar, but they're split off again. And I mean, yeah, it's a remake. Or at some point, I think Sakurai wanted to make new powers, but that just kind of wasn't in the cards for the time they had. But part of saving time was keeping burning and fire as separate as the same ability. They stay separate for, like, for a little while after this. Like, I'm not sure when I think they recombine them at Squeak Squad. But that means that Kirby and the Amazing Mirror has them still separated. They still have the mostly, like, some of the abilities are very, he does have an upward attack. You know what? I just realized something. Wait. Right. Okay. Never mind. Oh, I was too close to the edge of the screen. I totally lost my train of thought. It was something about burning. I'm going to assume that I made my point. For some reason, these guys take an extra hit. I don't know why. No one else does. It's just just the mace guys. There are a lot of cases, it doesn't seem to be that way with Meta Knight's sword, but with some Kirby abilities, you can actually kill a lot of the mini-bosses, and even some whole bosses, before they have a chance to, like, do anything at all. Also, Meta Knight's sword is able to solve every puzzle. So you don't have to worry about, like, oh, I don't have this one, how am I going to do that? Like, if you swing at a fuse, it'll light it. If you swing at a egg, it'll pound it. Huh, also, I just there I noticed that, he doesn't, like, if Kirby falls a certain distance, he will, like, land kind of head first and do a little bounce. Mennonite doesn't seem to do that. He kind of always lands on his feet. He also runs really fast. Do I need to go down there? Yeah. The only way to get those tomatoes is by inhaling them. Okay, no, I did not need to go down there. Oh, he moves forward a little bit when he swings. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, he moves forward a little bit. Okay, butter building is where things start to really, we start to really see some of the differences. Oops, I tried to jump. I forgot the category name for like 2 games. Whoa. I'm really surprised that didn't hit me. And I'm surprised that other thing did. Okay, so in Kirby's Adventure, butter building had this really cool effect, where when you, in a certain section of, I think this stage, you go on to the outside and you kind of run around. Yeah, it's actually, it would be here. You run in a circle around the outside of the tower, and it has this really cool 3D looking effect. And it's just gone here. They just didn't recreate it. And that's really a shame. I guess with the, like, higher resolution graphics, it was just a lot more difficult, or just they didn't have the space for it. Really disappointing, because it was really cool in the original. Like, just such a neat effect. Oh, didn't quite clear that. Ooh. Now, although they buffed Kirby a lot, they didn't actually change much about the enemies, other than like their sprites. Like these guys seem to be a lot bigger. But as far as I can tell, their like attack speeds and stuff wasn't made different. So their projectiles and their movement, all that is kind of the same, and that is unfortunate in a few cases. Like Bugsy, where he can dash very quickly at you because he's moving, I guess, the same speed that he was in the original, where he took up a very small amount of the screen space. Yeah, here's one where you would be going on the outside of the building, and it's just that. That's it. That's kind of sad. Get that tomato. And get me out of here. Based on that timer down there, I think I'd say we're making pretty good time. Not that I'm trying to go for a record or anything. Wow, that doesn't actually damage him. And normally you would want to make sure you get the hammer so that you can break that, but the Knight Sword works as everything. I don't need to get that. I do need to get that. Also, an extra game, and this mode as well. Since you only have 3 HP, the healing items are a little different. Max Tomatoes still max you out, but the bottles only give you 1 instead of 2. This room, however, since you can't get copy abilities, you can't see in the dark. They're kind of just counting on you to have played this enough times that you can just navigate in the dark. Which is probably the case if you unlock this. Yeah, they don't even get to act. See, there's an example of, like, you don't have enough screen space to really react to that. Oh, I couldn't recover quickly enough. At least I don't have to worry about losing my power. I don't even know what that was. Ow. That guy can still damage you while he's drowning. Found that out the hard way. This room gave me, like, this little mini-boss room gave me a lot of trouble as Kirby. Because there aren't really a lot of good projectile abilities in this game, I feel like. There's like Cutter. That's kind of it. Laser is kind of hard to come by. I like Meta Knight holding on. So there's a secret in this level, and it's just don't go in any of the doors till like the very end of the screen. Like, not that one. That one. I thought I was falling. Like, I thought I could land on the pink section, and then I thought I was gonna die. You get a warp star and he just flies without animation. The environments, I mean, I kind of said it before, but they definitely look cool in this game. Like, even when they just palette swap it, it's very interesting. I'm reluctant to say it was a big improvement over the original, just because, I mean, I'm fond of the original, but I know that's mostly nostalgia. In terms of just, does it look good? I would say this one is a definite yes. Fortunately, you do not need to beat that bomb block to get everything. That one is optional. I hate this guy. So in the original, this was a turtle, and they changed it to an elephant for reasons that I don't know. And I mean, his behavior is pretty much the same, but let me see. Go ahead and charge the wall. Actually, when he hits the wall, he's a little bit less annoying, because the turtle would roll rapidly back and forth, and if you touch him, you take damage. But the only reason the elephant is so much more annoying is because his sprite is so huge. And if you touch him, you just get grabbed. Which, you know, is functionally the same as taking damage, except that it also halts whatever attack you were doing. Which means if you were, you know, hoping to kind of tank some hits, it definitely messes that up. A lot of the mini-bosses you can kind of just... Sometimes you can just face tank them if you're doing damage quickly enough. But not that one. That didn't count as a hit? Wow. And those Bronto Birds just kind of fall out of the sky very quickly. Another example of where the reduced screen space is, makes things harder than I think they're supposed to be. So this room was very different in the original. It was kind of turned into a maze, and I'm not really sure why they thought a maze would be an improvement. But they did. This is another example of you hope you had it memorized. Because otherwise you're just not getting that. Ow! Man, those guys are nasty. I'm trying to go fast and I don't have enough time to react. I just spawned! Fortunately, your upward flight is fast enough. They definitely improved the high jump a lot in this one. Because high jump was kind of bad in Adventure because you could only use it on the ground. But it also sent you high enough that when you touched back down, you would do a little bounce. But in this one, you can just use it once per jump. That's it. Like one time before touching the ground again. So if you jump first, you can still high jump. Or if you bounce, like, not a big deal. That said, it's still high jump. And it still has very limited use. Also, I don't know if you could in the original, but in this one you can cancel it if you press the button a second time. When those parasols go after you. I want that. It's always kind of weird to me that they give you, like, some HP in, like, right next to the, right next to the giant button. Because the giant button heals you to max. So, HP items don't, like, they don't even give you points. Which I now notice is not in this, in Meta Nightmare. There's just a score. Like, they know at this level of play, it's like you don't care about points. You can use the downward thrust in the water and out of water, but if you enter water during it, it will end it. Also, yeah, those coconuts, you can't see them on this one. In the previous game, you could see them at the top of the screen. So it's a little bit weird. It kind of results in, you either just never noticing them, or they hit you without, like, without warning. Wow. I like that he hesitates before jumping off. I don't think they all do. Maybe? No, you see, that one didn't. One time they lined up in such a way that, like, one of them just ran off the side, and the next one, like, stopped, like, watched him do that, hesitated, and then jumped in after him. It looked like a little interaction. I don't know if it's intentional. HP, please. No! I hit the wrong direction! I felt like I was kind of shredding there. Those Poppy brothers are tough because they're completely invincible when they're on the apple. Also, you're supposed to have, like a wheel for that, but, like... Oh, hey. You can't drive across that with wheel. That does not work. Oh, this part is a little hard with Meta Knight. Wow, that's... Because he goes up so much more than Kirby does. Yeah, that... I'm not sure if you can get through that without taking damage. Also, Kirby, like, does a little jump backwards before it, changes the door color. That doesn't happen for Meta Knight, he just stands still. Actually, I can't say for sure that that happens in this version. It did in the other one. Kirby would plant the flag and then do a backflip. But I'm not positive that happens here. Not getting that. Uh-oh. Ambush. If you are dashing and you try to do an up attack, it doesn't. It does a dashing attack instead. It's functionally the same move as the standing one. Maybe it goes a tiny bit farther? I'm not sure. Oh, guess I didn't need it. Oh well. Can't get that. So this room, normally you'd have to like light the fire, grab that guy, and go up through there, but in this version they just made the rope respawn, so it's not even a challenge at all. Huh, Kirby bounces an extra time there, and you missed the button. The lack of animation there is so silly. Like, he has an animation. I think the lion is actually less dangerous in this one. I'm not really sure. Because in the other one, if you touch the lion, you get, like, it grabs you and mauls you. But in this one, I think I just didn't get hit by it, so I'm not actually sure if it does that. It probably still does. But it doesn't have, like, a dash attack, I think. It just jumps over you and tries to slam down. This room is, this level, getting the secret here is not intuitive. Because it seemed like, oh, obviously I need the wheel, like I'm supposed to have a wheel here. But actually... in this room, wheel's not going to help you. They did have stone, but you actually need hammer to get through there, and hammer's not in this level. I think it's the only case of that in this game, where you have to bring something from a different level. Maybe sword works, but I don't think it does. I feel like I tried sword before. Okay, Meta Knight's sword cuts through the entire level. Why? I don't want to move forward when I attack. Got it. He also does not dance. Go in the water. I'm not going in there. I know what that is. There's an elephant in that room. And I don't want to talk about it. The throw ability just lets you get that one up. That's it. Also, I think you're supposed to... I guess this is an example here of another stage that requires something from outside the level, because I think you're supposed to mix here until you get the hammer. Which is kind of weird. I think, actually, no, stone works there too. So you can mix until you get either one, but still. I guess it doesn't require a mix, but they don't give you what you need in the level. Wow, just... His mask flies down when he dies. I didn't notice that before. They just fly down to wherever you are. Yeah, this room you need to have stone in the next room to get the button. And they do give you stone in that little space. So UFO just left instantly. Oh, it's the ship level. Okay, so when I played this previously, I was not able to figure out what the hell I was supposed to do. It's probably gonna kill me. Nope. And it's a little bit more obvious in this one. Also, disappointingly, these guys don't jump out of windows anymore. That was just such a nice little touch. But you would blow this up and it'd flood the ship. What you're supposed to do is enter the space where that bomb was. It's just not actually marked in the original, so they marked it here. This is still one of the more like bullshit areas though, because you come over here and you, well actually, okay. That guy shoots you the second you come in this room, but you have to eat him. He flies away immediately after flying. You need that laser to shoot that fuse because you can't hit it underwater with fire. Oh, how am I supposed to hit that with Meta Knight? Oh, okay, that's not hard. I don't like those guys. They just come down and land on you. Another example of like, you have reduced screen space. I initially didn't see those spikes when I played it earlier, and yeah, they kind of blend in with the background a little bit. I'm not gonna need all of these 1-ups, but you know what? They're fun to collect. I'm not sure if that guy was originally on a half space. Button. Oh, I don't need that. Parasol is really good for this room. So you can't really anticipate the coconuts, and it just blocks them. Same for that last room, but Mennonite just goes fast enough, he just outruns them. I didn't show it off earlier, but Freeze is the same speed as, I think the same base animation as Spark, and that makes it probably, that makes it, in my opinion, the best power in the game. It comes out very fast, hits all around you, and since it freezes enemies, you can often just sling them into other guys. And though it's short range, against bosses, you can freeze their projectiles. And, you know, toss them back. So you still can use projectile attacks. But yeah, given the limited screen space, because of the sprite size, having like a very fast ability, he looks so goofy in the circle. It's a big deal. I actually have a feeling that that Sakurai did a lot, like contributed a lot to Meta Knight's like moveset and playstyle and making sure that he felt really good to use. It feels like a Sakurai thing. Because he just feels like way better than like control-wise than the entire rest of the game. Only complaint I would have is that his sword attack moves you forward. It should only move you forward if you're holding forward, so you'd have a forward attack that just moves you up a little bit, but his, you know, neutral should just keep you standing still. I think you get a 1-up at the end of either path. What? Man! The most evasive I've seen one of those guys. Okay. I need, like, a refill before I do the boss. Maybe not. It's against Meta Knight. Yeah, I did. This is how I get my refill. They could have done something different for the Meta Knight battle, or even just, like, have you skip this one or something, but... Or had, like, a Shadow Meta Knight or something. Let's make him a dark silhouette, like in Zelda. Ow. Glad that guy can't shoot through the walls. I feel like they used to be able to. Nothing in there. I think that's just to show that you can break some of these walls. I think in the think in the original, the breakable sections weren't really marked. Guess we're gonna 100% this mode. So, I think it's in the original, but there's a little shortcut here. You just go in the window. Which, in this one, has bars on it, so it doesn't look like you should be able to go through it, but you still can. Also... Okay, this guy is absolutely crazy, because he has, like, almost no recovery time at all. He rams the wall and just is back, and he moves super, super fast. But this music is King Dedede's theme, and there's a reason that there's a reason they're playing it here. Yeah, this is actually, this might be the hardest fight in the game. This guy. Especially with Meta Knight, because he moves forward, and this guy jumps around a lot. I think I'm just gonna have to play it safe. Just one hit at a time. That was a grab. That didn't look like a hit to me, but okay. Bugsy is also really difficult. These guys are powered up as indicated by their palette swap. Although this guy's recovery still he still lands on his back and stays there for a little bit. The elephant just gets up like immediately. I don't know how this guy's better. Oh. Maybe he doesn't hang in the air for as long? I'm not really sure. But he's not much harder. I don't know why I was trying to play him safe. Didn't work out. I guess because I had 1 HP. Yeah, that's the reason. Now we're into like the total weirdness of Rainbow Resort. I do like the way that transition kind of goes. You go to the top of the tower, take the warp star to this area. It looks the same at the end of that stage as it does at the beginning of this one. It's just a nice touch. It lets you feel like you're on an adventure. It's something that they like kind of stopped doing in I guess like action platformers for a little bit, like games in this format. Like Mario 3, for example, and Mario World especially Mario World, had like really tight theming as you go through the world, which I thought was great. It let you feel like you were on a journey. I don't need any of this stuff. And this game does the same thing, but at some point, I'm not really sure like what design paradigm changed, but like there was a noticeable like drop in that style of level. That style of like level progression. It was most notable in Mario 3D World, I think, where like you would just kind of like go, like each world still had a theme, but the themes weren't like they didn't influence the level at all. So I remember, like, you find, like, like, there's a savannah level in one of the worlds that I think has nothing to do with... It doesn't have any kind of theme like that. Like, they could have put, like, an oasis in the desert area, and they didn't. The worst example, though, in Mario 3D World, if I'm remembering correctly, was a beach level in the snow world. Which could have been like a little funny gag, but there was nothing to indicate it, like, outside. This level has one of the most brutal... Oh, I got hit by that. One of the most brutal, like, secrets, I think. I didn't avoid that. Yeah, see, these guys also, they wait till they're on the screen to start falling, but because there's less screen space, they're a lot harder to avoid. So they give you a wheel boss. The wheel does not help you in the stage. In fact, it's gonna hinder you. It's like, imagine wheeling through this. This room, however, this is a devious room. So there's a cannon there. Unfortunately, this is not necessary for 100%, but they give you a fireball, a laser, and fire breath. All three of them. Ow. To light this and then make it there. And it is possible, I think it's possible with all of them, but it is extremely hard to time. With Meta Knight, it's obviously a lot easier. He moves very fast and he has a really good range. You're not actually supposed to use any of them. At the beginning of the level, whoa! Oh, wow. At the beginning of the level, they give you a whole bunch of those bomb guys. They give you Crash. And you can get that, then you have to beat that mini-boss. So you would take Crash, and you have to get it past the boss by dropping it, taking one of his little guys, spinning it back, and then eating Crash again. And just repeating that process until you defeat him, go to the next area, and Crash will light the fuse. This level is pretty much the same as it was before, but one thing's better, one thing's worse. What's better is it's actually, I think, using the original sprites from, I'm not sure. The background tiles are not part of, are not part of this game. I think that these are the original sprites from Kirby's Dreamland. Or not sprites, but the original background tiles. Whereas in Adventure, they just grayscaled some existing tile sets. Which was fine. It just, you know, not the same. No door there. The thing that's worse is pretty obvious. They didn't grayscale any of the enemies. So, I don't know, the whole theming kind of is thrown off. I think with the improved tech, they could have just not only made all the enemies grayscale, but made you grayscale as well. This section here in the extra game in Dreamland, I'll never forget it. Something that is kind of interesting that I think about it is the extra game just gives you 3 HP in the original adventure, but in Kirby's Dreamland, after you beat extra game, like you can choose how much HP. Okay, I held here because I wanted want to hear the music. This is why they played King Dedede's theme at the tower instead of against him. You battle him at the Fountain of Dreams, and by this point in Sakurai history, Super Smash Bros. Melee has already been released. Also, he does not have the same jump attack that he did before, like the same animation. Instead, he just kind of leaps into the air in the same profile. And, oh, I was 1 second. No! If I didn't wait for that explanation, I would have gotten sub 1 hour, dude. Wow. Anyway, you don't do the final battle against Nightmare as Meta Knight, and that's fine. An hour and 1 second. Amazing. Oh well. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't going for a record. Yeah, this little they give you this little congratulations screen, which is pretty cool. I am just noticing. Uh-oh. Huh. I had part of the screen cut off this entire time. Oops. Wow, that would have made the game look even like more ridiculous with how cramped it is. Huh. I forgot that this was, yeah, because it's Game Boy Advance. Okay. I played most Game Boy Advance games on the Game Boy Player. So I was playing them on a CRT anyway. It was an add-on for the GameCube. So I guess it just, I totally forgot that that's the case for GBA. Well, unfortunate that I noticed it this late. Holy shit, right at the end. I looked and I was like, wait, my time, why can't I see my time? Uh-oh. But I'm glad I noticed it before Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, which I will be playing next time. I was hoping to get through Air Ride today. I'm not going to do that. This is where I stop. I'm just going to leave this little screen up for a little bit while yeah, that's fine. But yeah, we'll save that for next time. I'm not going to do much of Air Ride because there's not much to Air Ride. I'll probably play like City Trial once or something, do like each mode like one race or something like that. There's not a lot to it, and eventually I'll get to Kirby Air Riders. And that's where it'll... Also, the box arts for Kirby Air Ride are kind of hilarious. I think it's the most egregious case of US box art. Actually, no, the most egregious case is Squeak Squad. That is... The Kirby Air Ride is... That one, Amazing Mirror, and... Squeak Squad was, I think that's where the meme came from. Like, they've been doing it for a while, but it wasn't like... Actually, no, the first game they did it was this one. It was Nightmare in Dreamland. It was the first one where they used Angry Kirby instead. Oh well. The congratulations screen also, it kind of does. Wait, let me go back to that. It does actually remind me a bit of like the at the end of like Melee, after you beat like the arcade mode with a character, it does a congratulations screen. It feels like that. Oh, why is my ad going now? Really?